I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Another day. Okay, let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, I'm looking at the schedule. We have one person scheduled for 1 hour and then one person scheduled for 2 hours. Yeah, okay, so the first one, yeah, I printed out their questionnaires right here. I really like and appreciate your idea in regards to getting their background information in these questionnaires. Yeah, absolutely. Like in this right here, I'm looking at the questionnaire. I was able to write notes on the back. So I like having it actually printed out, but if we can have background information before I actually jump on the calls, that would be amazing. Yeah, you know what college you went to, where'd you go to medical school, residency, specialty, all that kind of stuff. Some of these people I know them because I've been talking with them for a few months already. But if we can just put it actually on in their questionnaire, I think that'd be freaking amazing. Yeah, I think that'd be very smart. Okay, so the first person, urology resident, their profile is pretty standard, just a W-2, some 401k, IRA match. Yeah, I think with him, he was wanting to just get started in business credit. If possible, you can actually put the residents first in the scheduling always. Yeah, and the reason for that is because residents require more education and more like reassurance. They've never been through investing before, number one, and number two, they've never been, yeah, exactly. So they just require more time and energy. But if we get in early with them, we're looking at potential business partners for the next 5 to 10 years. So that's kind of the theory. If we can get 20, 30 residents set up, then for the next 15, 20 years, we'll have the same amount of potential business partners. Exactly. Okay, second person. Yeah, he's the EM doc. I actually met him through Reddit. Yeah, he's the 46-year-old working 60 hours a week. Stepdaddy. Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine 40-something years old working 60 hours a week just to come home to dysfunction. And then I wonder why I'm depressed, almost 50 years old. You can't buy a Harley to buy back time like that. Yeah, okay, so I got these ones, and then right now we're gonna go ahead and get into this meeting here really quickly. Yeah, these are all people that I met from Doc Influencer. How's my voice sound? My voice raspy? Allergies. All right. Did you turn on the auto notes? Thank you, love. All right, give me 1 second. All right, I'm ready. Hi there, how are you guys doing? I'm doing good. It's nice to see you guys. Yeah, sorry you had some trouble getting in. Oh, it's fine. Well, here's the thing with residents. I know either one or two things. Either you're gonna be at home half asleep, right? Or you're gonna be in the residence room in extremely dark lighting where the residence lounges are, right? Extremely dark lighting. So trust me, presentation does not matter to me. I hope you don't mind. I came in with my Cowboys sweater on. I was indoctrinated at a young age. This is my team. Yeah, Cowboys for sure. Then it was like the Raiders, right? I like the Cowboys and the Raiders a lot. Yeah, I'm from California, so the Raiders kind of are more close to home, but I've always been a Cowboys fan primarily since I was younger. Yep. Yeah, I see a couple unique faces. No, thank you. I appreciate you kind of putting the word out to your co-residents and friends and get them on here. And this is what it's all about, right? The whole idea for me is to essentially take whatever I learned or whatever I'm going through or whatever I plan on doing in the future, packaging it up in information products and services, and then helping people out. So whatever I've learned from in the past, I try and share, right, with people that are maybe going to go through it, and whatever I want to do in the future, I want to bring people along with me. So that's kind of where all of this comes into play. Yeah. Well, that's why you pay. Yeah, that's why you paid her in euros. She's a dual UK Iraq citizen. Yeah. Yeah, I always wondered that personally, you know, and so I never really got exposed to it until I got into medical school. Guess. I'm Mexican, my mom's Cuban. Or I'm sorry, my dad's Mexican and my mom's Cuban. Yeah. You know, I get Egyptian, I get Lebanese, I get across the spectrum of Middle Eastern countries. No, I'm not. Oh, really? So Sunni or Shia? I'm learning a little bit. Well, the more time I spend with her, the more and more I'm like learning different aspects, right? Asking very simple, direct, basic questions. Those are the ones that kind of allow me to learn at least. Yeah, and it translates pretty good to banking and whatever we're doing, right? Just trying to ask simple, basic questions. Well, before I get into it, I just want to start by prefacing this with saying I'm thankful that all you guys wanted to join and be a part of this. Specifically, I know probably the biggest laugh at that event when they were talking about giving financial advice. I said, getting a divorce before you become a practicing physician. It's the best financial advice. And about 3/4 of the room started laughing, which tells me that some things are just so blatantly obvious but nobody wants to talk about them sometimes, right? There's a reason why you're seeing people who are physicians making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 over the course of 15 to 20 years. Why they are still living paycheck to paycheck, or they're still working 60-hour weeks. And it's because one of two things: either A, they didn't learn how to multiply money, or B, they didn't really pay attention to the liabilities in life. Yeah, so when you go from being a resident for the first time in about 15 years, you're gonna have access to money and credit. So you're gonna go out and you're gonna buy a new car and you're gonna finance it because you don't have cash saved up. So you're gonna put it on a 60 to 72 month loan in your personal name, not your business name, which is completely different. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go and start touring properties, houses, your dream houses, and you're gonna pay market rates and you're gonna utilize realtors, right? And so you've gone from 15 years of feeling like a debt slave, and unknowingly what you're doing is you're signing away another 15 years to become a debt slave. And it's like this massive trick that you got to play. Yeah, absolutely. When you actually when I explain it like that, suddenly it makes logical sense to a lot of people. Whereas if you look at it as, okay, this was my life for 15 years. So what I can do is spend the next 2 or 3 years living just like that while I learn how to invest, while I learn how to limit my liabilities, right? Now, the number one liability that you have to be aware of in the US, I say jokingly it's marriage, but primarily it has to do with contracts. Yes, so when you're signing contracts with this physicians group or this hospital, and you sign on the dotted line for X amount of money, what you're also doing is you're signing up for X amount of responsibilities and liabilities. And when you contract in the US, what you're doing is you're allowing the court system, legal system, whatever it is, jurisdiction, right? This is how the American system operates. But we can flip it also to our benefit in many ways. When we go to a bank and we apply for financing, they are within the jurisdiction of certain states or certain federal rules. And if we go and we meet every single criteria that they require us to actually meet, then we actually have access to that funding by law, right? So it's this very interesting concept, but many of you are probably familiar with it, the yin and the yang, you know? All we're trying to do is become aware and educated of what that is so we can use it to create money and create assets while also limiting our liabilities. But most people, they aren't educated in terms of what the assets are and what the liabilities are. Like, you have no idea what you're looking for. Many of you have been in college or medical school or residency your entire professional life. And it's very similar to like you being in a controlled environment. And then suddenly you're walking out of that controlled environment with hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes. Now I have to say it because it's a pretty obvious thing to say for most people. But I have to tell you, once I got an MD behind my name, I started looking a lot more handsome. And you know how I know God is just? Look at his hair and look at my beard. I got the beard, he got the hair. That's how we know God's real. He's so even, right? And so what ends up happening is you graduate, you become a resident, or you become an MD, and you don't even know that now there's a type of target on your back, right? And so you're a target for not only women, you're a target for lawyers, you're a target for essentially everybody. Yeah, so that's the part that you got to be aware of in terms of the liabilities aspect, right? And so you have to really be aware of who you contract with, whether that's a group, whether that's a hospital, whether that's your personal life, right? Because those are the only two ways that you're going to lose in life financially. Is you're not aware of how to multiply money in the financial system, which is in the US, and you're not aware of how to control your exposure when it comes to liabilities. Yes. Well, there's a reason why you paid in euros, right? There's a reason why a lot of MDs and a lot of successful people, they own and control assets in the US, but they don't hold title to corporations that are controlled in the US. It's a completely different concept, right? It's a completely different reality than what a lot of people learn and talk about. Absolutely. And you guys being residents, right? You guys are all single right now. At least that's my understanding. single, handsome, good-looking men. Exactly. You're going to be able to take advantage of the financial aspect of America and the states and the banking system, while also being aware of the negatives, the liabilities that can potentially be incurred. Now, a lot of people, when I probably say this or when I talk like this, they'll say, well, he's saying that you should never get married and you should go out and you should borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars in the US. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying is that this is the game in the US. The game in the US is to be able to multiply money, invest for-profit businesses, while also at the same time being aware of what the liabilities can be. Exactly. And so when I made that statement at Doc Influencer, there was a lot of laughter, but in reality, it was a lot of nervous laughter because people were aware of the problem. It's no different than when patients come into the office and they have that nervous laughter, right? They'll come in with labs like, a 10, 11, that nervous laughter. It was no different. So when I made that statement, if you really paid attention, there was a lot of nervous laughter as well. And so I don't care who you ask, but you can ask physicians over 50, 60 years old why they're still working. And they can say, oh, it's because I love my job and I love I love my specialty, right? But in reality, what they'll probably say as well is, and my kids, I have to pay for them to go to school. Now working, putting in hours to sustain your lifestyle is probably one of the biggest regrets of a lot of people. And so if there's a way that you can find, like raising business credit, expanding your purchasing power, so when you actually go and buy assets, you can get there faster. So if there's a way for you to get to that point faster to where you're at least able to replace your salaries as physicians, it's going to allow you that much more freedom and options. So about once a month, she'll schedule a 40 or 50 plus MD. And I work for her, by the way. I was wondering, I always ask her, like, how did he react? Here you are, you're expecting to talk to a male, Western male, and then you open up the Zoom at first and you see a woman wearing a hijab. Okay, I want to get your perspectives. How do you guys react to that? I literally just told her the same thing. I think a lot of women, when they come into like male-dominated industries, like whatever it is, I think they have to copy men and be like men, but in actuality, they just have to be feminine and be themselves more than anything. And that's what wins men over. Exactly. See that? That's a live test right there. That was really interesting. So my goal is this. My goal is that we put together this consulting program. You guys sign up for it. We help you create small single member LLCs to get you established. We help you build out your business credit. We help you with any kind of financing that you need over the next 12 months, whether that's applying for vehicle loans, applying for home loans, get you set up, get you stabilized, right? And so that way, when it comes time for you to start investing and buying bigger assets like apartment buildings, like practices, we already have the relationship together. We have the trust built. We have the credit lines established, right? That suddenly you're no longer just a resident looking for a job. You're a resident/investor with credit lines open, ready to invest. And so you can buy into a practice. We have one, it was an ASC, just a typical ASC. The resident actually went out and bought all the lab equipment so they can actually start doing labs. In less than 8 months, he got all of his money back. Yes, he's in the portal. You'll be able to talk to him. Just adding labs. Yeah, an extra $400,000 in revenue. If you go to get your labs taken, even in the hospital, you're still waiting at least 30, 45 minutes. Now imagine trying to get labs outside of the hospital. Yeah, it's a 4 or 5 day wait. We live in a I want it now generation where you call and text a place at 8 p.m. They want to be able to get scheduled by the next morning. That's why a lot of our AI agents and everything's starting to kick off dramatically, because it's just responding to what customers and clients want. Absolutely. Well, you just look at the expansion from the last 16 years. Like I remember when Amazon was delivering packages in like 3 or 4 years. Yeah, she won't remember that. We do. Yeah, the other day it was funny. I was talking about like the depression of 2008. Nothing, no remembrance, nothing. So that kind of dynamic is interesting. But yeah, so I remember when we were getting Amazon packages, in like 3 or 4 days, and that was impressive. Or Netflix in the mail. Do you remember when we used to get Netflix DVDs in the mail? And were we satisfied at that point? No, that was the new expectation. So then the new expectation was we want them every 2 days. And then now it's Amazon Prime, right? Buy this by 7 p.m. and we can get it to you by 5 a.m. the next morning. And it's just getting faster and faster. So this is pretty much the entire pitch for us all the time is we want to help residents specifically get established, get their LLCs, maybe get a house, maybe get a car in their business's name, right? Get yourself settled. So that way you can satisfy the flesh a little bit. Get some wins under your belt, so that way you don't go out on a $400,000 or $500,000 salary and buy a $1.5 million house and enslave yourself for the next 15 years. That's all it is. And we're just trying to put together a group of really good people who want to work in medicine without having the financial pressures of feeling like you have to work in medicine. And you can go outside of medicine and make some money in real estate or med business, whatever it is. Yeah, so if following this, just send her over your details, send her over your calendars. We have a simple questionnaire, and then we meet for our one-on-ones. And at that point, we set up a lot of your C Corps and a lot of your LLCs or whatever you want to do, depending on your very specific situation. No, that I know about or that I have. Because I have some that I know about for sure, but I think I got some that I don't know about. No, it's people think that when I say that, I'm saying, no, don't get married. All I'm saying is don't contract. Be careful who you contract. And that's with a contract with a hospital, contract with a group, contract with a spouse, etc., right? You have to be aware of those liabilities in the US because it's a very litigious society. As far as children goes, have a ball, you know? And once you're on child support or whatever, it's already like, it's in a calculator, bing, bing, bing. Yeah. No, I would say the most interesting about it is like a person will spend 15, 20 years worth of child support in lawyer fees just to get that child support or just to try and fight for an unrealistic number. Yeah. And whoever, because men do this too, especially a lot of female physicians. Now they're starting to experience this too, right? So whoever you're with, imagine them about 20, 30 pounds heavier, right? And about 20 or 30 less IQ. Oh, because it's extremely emotional, right? And then, of course, they act dumb. Oh, I didn't know this. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know this. Oh, I didn't know that, right? So you go through that process. But you got to think about it. It's incentivized, right? Like it incentivizes, it fuels the process. It's like, why are Americans in so much debt? Because it's incentivized. If I go to a bank and I take a loan out for $100,000 and I have $100,000 in my pocket, that's tax-free, right? So we're incentivized borrowers. Same thing with child support or whatever. A lot of people don't realize it, but you pay it with pre-tax dollars, meaning that you're gonna have to pay, let's say, I saw this one doctor, Dr. Mark Kroll, K-R-U-L-L, right? He pays like $5,600 a month in spousal support and child support combined. Yeah, look him up, Dr. Mark Kroll, K-R-U-L-L. Very like famous. I think that YouTube video has like 1 million or 2 million views. But in order to pay that $5K, he has to make like between 8 and 10K a month in gross income. A lot of people don't think like that. And then attorney fees, you're paying with pre-tax dollars too. A lot of your attorney fees aren't tax deductions. And with what I just said right now, I probably saved you hundreds of thousands of dollars. He looks like he was gonna get down on the hands and knees yesterday. I looked at his Instagram profile, him and his girlfriend. He looked like he was ready to propose tomorrow. No, I'm just being honest, you know? Yeah. Yeah, in the US, you know, you have to look at, okay, what is really incentivized here? And that baseline, that's where the majority of the population is going to go towards, right? We're incentivized to borrow a bunch of money. And people are incentivized in this aspect to go to court to extract money. That's all it is. That's all it is. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or have any concerns, anything, once you connect with her, once you connect with Z, she's gonna put you in the platform and then you're gonna get the questionnaire. And then from there, we meet for our one-on-ones. And then the process after that to setting up your LLCs is probably between 2 and 3 weeks. And then we send the notary out to you Whether you're at the hospital or your apartment, wherever it's at, we send the notaries out to you. So that way they sign a lot of your corporate documents for you. And then we start shopping for loans and credit lines, etc. Yeah, those of you that have car loans and loans like that right now, one of the priorities that you're going to want to do is put them into business credit, if at all possible. Because what it is it affects your DTI, debt to income ratio. So when you try and buy a property, a fourplex or a duplex, even during residency, right, it affects your ability to qualify for loans. So just by putting it in business credit and being able to produce income or it become an asset for you, it's a totally different. You turn a liability into an asset at that point. Work equipment, right? No, truthfully, the people that I listen to in real estate, right? I like Sharif Medawar. He has some of the best education and he's available for very reasonable fees. I like Henry Eisenstein. Those are the two people that I really track and follow right now. I like Sharif because of his commercial and asset protection programs. I like Henry Eisenstein because he's more so along, my age, and he's more hip with the tech. He's more revealing with his actual strategies. Yeah, so those are the two that I really follow right now. For entertainment purposes, I like the YouTube channel Ben Mala. Well, I like him and how his kids are a part of the business, right? Yeah, oh God, 100%. And so I like his, for entertainment purposes. When it comes to credit, I don't really have a specific reference. I just contact the banks now directly. So when we're on our one-to-one phone calls, you'll realize two of you can make the same salaries, but one of you is always going to get like $50,000 to $60,000 more in credit. And it's all based off of your personal credit profiles or how the bank's feeling that day. Yeah, but the basics is that once you actually fill out the application and you meet their entire criteria, first of all, we ask them for their criteria in advance. We're not going to go to a bank who specifically focuses in on residential home loans, and then we're going to go and ask them for a medical office loan. Like, we're not going to do that. We're going to go to very specific banks that are offering very specific products that have requirements. And then we contact them, get the requirements, spend a month or two actually doing everything that we need to actually meet those requirements. Some banks, they don't like aged LLCs. Some banks are okay with it. At one point, I think I had like 15 to 20 LLCs or something like that. Yeah, and they asked like, why do you have so many LLCs? It's not me. I mean, the banks are requiring this. And they'll want to know who's the owners, what kind of services, right? What kind of assets are already in this LLC? Exactly. So we'll have a funding LLC, right? That you guys are going to start with us. And then from there, once you start getting into acquiring properties and assets, then you might want to, at that point, start creating new LLCs for that specific asset. And that's when we start introducing you to Monica. Yeah, she's the asset protection attorney. We got it all now. We got accountants. We got the asset protection attorney. It's basically turnkey now for you. Well, this is kind of the way it goes, right? You want to learn new things, and then you feel like you're actually getting punished when it doesn't go right. But the whole idea is that you turn that punishment, you're like, oh wow, this is pain. Pain, growing pain. Growing pain, height, profit. Everything I've done, I've found ways to try and turn it into profit and content. Yeah, you become a comedian, 100%. I don't know what it is. I never used to be this funny. And now all of a sudden I get jokes all over the place. Well, listen, I look forward to meeting all you guys and meeting up with you individually. Yeah, I have some consulting calls actually right now after this that we got to get through and run through. But just connect with Z and she's going to introduce a lot of you guys to the portals and get you out your passwords and everything like that. Yes, the payments are in euros. Yeah. No, it's one of the funniest things, right? I mean, it's just the way the system's set up, You guys are probably familiar with this phrase, but there's this phrase, don't hate the player, hate the game. He knows what it is. Listen, it's just the game. The game is that you can't work for the next 10 to 15 years as a physician, inherit a lot of these liabilities, and expect to be in your 40s and happy. That's all it is. That's all it is. Yeah, any final questions? Yeah, so yes, pre-tax dollars means that essentially you're paying, it's not deductible in many ways. So let's say you make, I don't know, $50K a month as an attending. That's pre-tax dollars. That's gross, right? And so any expenses that you have in your life, personal life, whatever it is, that aren't directly tied to business activities, You don't get to write off. Yeah, so if you have, you know, the most common one with physicians nowadays, right, is like car payments, you know, G-Wagons, spousal support, child support, stuff like that, right? That stuff is not tax deductible. Yeah. Yeah, so if you guys don't want to end up on the YouTube channel like Dr. Kroll, you see, you got to look at his face. It's hilarious. He's so devastated. But if you listen to the video, yeah, if you listen to the video, his wife is even like, and I had to sell the family house because I can't afford it. What she really means is that I'm making $5K a month, but I've paid my attorney $300,000 or $400,000 in legal fees. So then I had to pay for the legal fees with the house. Oh God, it's like, it's a case study in itself. Yeah, so you guys being, you know, younger and now starting to get female attention, probably stuff like that, right? Like, you got to be careful. You're a target. Yeah, the bad boys, right? They make the best boyfriends, but physician, cops, firemen, they make the best stepdaddies. Yeah. All right. No, we'll go ahead and we'll wrap this up and we'll talk with you guys soon. Again, she'll send you over everything. It all runs through her, and so I'm just the prop. All right, guys, have a good one. Yeah, so that's that is like the typical target customer right there. Yeah. Well, they're that like first, second generation immigrant too to the US, so they're still extremely hungry. Yeah, so they still want to be entrepreneurial and everything like that. And they see like a lot of, you know, older physicians still working. So it's easy to connect, like they're connecting the dots now, being so young. And they're like, why the heck is this doctor still working and that doctor still there? Now it's starting to connect with them. Exactly. And so hopefully, you know, yeah, we stick with them for the next 5 to 10 years. And before you know it, we got partners for the next however long. Okay, so what you can do is you can send them out the invoices and everything and schedule them. But for them, I know for sure it's going to be a lot of questions. So please, Sunday mornings. Yeah, Sunday mornings would be the best. Yeah, because I'll be well rested and I'll have the extra time to spend with them. All right, sounds good. Thank you. Yeah, I'll call you later.